This is Korhal Floating Island, brought to you by SK Planet. Spawning in the top right-hand position as the yellow Zerg from CJ Entis, it is Hydra.
His opponent spawning as blue Zerg on the right bottom position. His name is Zenio, playing for Evil Geniuses Team Liquid.
Indeed. So, Zenio, Hydra. This is going to be a ZvZ on Korhal Floating Island. Still a little bit weird of a name, I have to say. But then again, they're translated, so not everything's going to be perfect in translation. So, what do you think about ZvZ on this map from what we've seen so far? I think we saw one ZvZ, and it was in the other spawning positions, and we saw some pretty crazy roach timing play.
Well, from this position, it's not as close air as the 11 o'clock and the 5 o'clock position. For example, once you take an expansion, the air distance is fairly the same for these spawning locations, but if you spawn 11 and 5, look at where the natural is on this map. So the mutas are going to be much faster, and it's going to arrive much faster at your opponent's base. Granted, it is much easier to take the third base on those positions, and these positions, once you take the third base, you need to watch out where the Zerglings are coming from. The biggest feature of this map in these spawning locations is that there's 3 main paths to get your opponent's base, and you need the Overlords in perfect position to scout where the Zerglings are.
Exactly. So position playing a key role on this map when these players spawn in these locations, and the naturals are a little bit farther away from each other here than they would be in the other spawning locations. So both players opting to go for that 15 hatch, just playing it very, standard. We do see this as a pretty common opener here. That's either you can go for the hatch, you can get the early gas with the pool, or you can just go for the pool and then get the gas later on.
Seems like Hydra didn't really care about his loss last time, because when they lose to some kind of cheese build, they'll play it a little bit safer the next round in Pro League, especially in the same matchup 2 days after you got cheesed. So he's still confident at his matchup, and he's confident that his opponent is going to play a regular game and set up some kind of cheesy play. Yeah,
I'm sure both players are pretty happy with the outcome after scouting their opponents, saying, all right, cool, I'm not going to see any cheese here. I'm just going to continue macroing up and, build those drones, not have to worry about those lings early on in the game.
Talking about mindset, Zenio needs to focus in this game, saying that this is not, his name might be Hydra, he might be from CJ Entis, but I'm just playing against a regular Zerg player. If he can put his focus in there, he has undefeated record in ZvZ Pro League, so he might be able to win this game, even if his opponent is one of the best Zerg players in Pro League.
Exactly. Hydra, of course, a MSL winner. That's one of the Brood War tournaments, of course.
And he did win the MSL by defeating some of the best ZvZ players, including Jadong, in a best out of 5.
Exactly. So he's no slouch, especially when it comes to ZvZ, regardless of what game it is. Bandliness going down for both players, as well as Zergling speed, about halfway research for both players. Still, we're not really seeing many lings out on the map. A very passive game at this point. Pretty much just like, I think this is the first pair of lings that Hydra's made, and it's in a response to seeing Zenio making a few lings of his own.
Oh yeah, since the build was similar by both players, they could get the tech out just in time to defend against the massive amount of Zerglings by making only 1 or 2 banelings, and great connections means the game is over and your opponent will be so far behind the economy. That's why in ZvZ and Pro League, players decide to go for less Zerglings, pair up Zerglings, maybe up to 6, and then start teching up.
Exactly. So both players are making a few more Zerglings here, but not too much. Lair has just started for Hydra, and Zenio getting a few defensive banelings here as well. And both players' speed, they just finished, but Hydra going to be able to move into the main base and get a full scout on his opponent, so he's going to be pretty happy about that. Seeing the double gas, seeing Lair just popping up now, I think he may have missed that before Zenio started it up.
You know what I realized? There was one baneling that was actually next to the Zerglings when Hydra went in, and that's the decision between, do you want to show your opponent what you have, or do you just not care if the Zerglings scout? Because if you're hiding something, the baneling would have actually detonated on the Zerglings. For example, if there was a roach warren inside the main base, you don't want to show that to your opponent, and it seems like Hydra, he wants to deny his opponent's scouting.
Yep, so both of those Zerglings getting taken out there. Zenio is still going to be in the dark for a little bit longer, but Hydra having at least a decent idea of what his opponent is up to. But neither players are opting for any type of aggressive strategies early on, which we have seen before and in the past. Sometimes players will maybe go for a little bit earlier roaches, but everything here is seeming very, very standard. Spire going down for Hydra, so it looks like he is opting for the ever so popular Heart of the Swarm mass mutalist playstyle.
Oh yeah, those players who went for the roaches, they know that they have to deal such a lot of damage before the mutas are coming out. And really nice play by Zenio, denying the drone from going for the third base. Wow, Zenio himself is getting the third base.
No, very nice play by Zenio. And you know what? He didn't commit anything to that. He just had 2 Zerglings near the third base there. And now I think Hydra is going to be relocating that spine crawler over to the third base there. And we have some Zerglings over here trying to kill some of the Banelings off. Zenio forced to cancel these, and now Hydra, he's making a good amount of lings here. He's going to move over to the natural or the potentially the third base. Is he going to be able to do a critical amount of damage here?
Well, he needs to be careful because there's 2 Banelings over there, and Suicide's good number of Zerglings into the 2 Banelings. However, there's no more Zerglings by Zenio, only a handful of Banelings from the back.
Uh-oh, this hatchery, it's getting a little bit low on health. One more Baneling there. Good split by Zenio, and it looks like this harassment is going to be successfully defended by Zenio.
Yeah, this is something that we did not see from Soulkey in Soulkey versus Jadong a few days ago on Neoplanet S. Soulkey was trying to take a third expansion, and Jadong constantly denied the third base. What was actually lacking in that game is the Banelings at the third base using it for defense, and Zenio just showing that he's able to defend against it. However, his mutas are much later than his opponent Hydra's.
The mutas are a little bit later, and he's not making as many, but you know, Hydra still has to worry about that travel distance all the way to his third base. On top of that, he has to worry about these Zerglings over here. He may have to spend a little bit more resources than you want to defend against that, but look at this. The mutas are finally out for Hydra, and they've been able to kill off a lot of those Banelings and Zerglings, and he's going to get an Overlord as well.
Oh, I don't know how many drones have been killed. 2 drones. Okay, so there was a Baneling that actually snuck inside the main base for a second. And I saw the flashing, but I thought it was a handful of Zerglings on Banelings.
Yeah. All right, we have a pretty even worker count here. And I guess Zenio is just going to play defensive for now. He wants to work up that muta count. Same with the Hydra as well. Both players opted in to go for the +1 armor. Now, how come the +1 armor is more important in this matchup than the +1 attack for the mutas?
Because if you actually get both upgrades and go headbutt against each other with the mutas with the +1 carapace actually last longer than those with the +1. And we've seen that a couple of times in Pro League specials actually. I think it was Hydra versus Effort actually, and both players were going for mutas except Effort went for +1 attack and Hydra went for +1 carapace, and that was the only difference that they needed to pretty much end the game. I have to say, Hydra won it convincingly.
So that +1 carapace is definitely very important for the muta battles, reducing the splash damage that they can do with the glaive worm attack. And it looks like Hydra has more mutas right now. He's actually up to 20, while Zenio only has 17. He's got 18 now. It's still very close, but the biggest issue here is that both players essentially have to commit almost all of their Vespene gas to the muta count, because falling behind by even 1 or 2 can spell doom for them and end the game. And, you know, both players, they have their third base. They haven't decided to take another one yet, but are we going to see a commitment here? Nope. Zenio backs off.
Zenio actually might have gone for it if Hydra was great at muta sacking. After poking him with few mutas, he sees that his opponent has more mutas than himself, so he's not committing to the attack. If Hydra was hiding how many mutas that he had, then Zenio might have gone for it and Hydra would have won the engagement easily.
Interesting choice of tech here from Zenio. He's getting the Ventral Sax upgrade for his Overlords, and he's not getting the speed yet, but it looks like, I mean, is he going to go for some Baneling drops or Zergling drops maybe, or is this a mistake? Why do you think he decided to go for this?
I still have to say it's kind of a mistake because the mutas are so great at actually taking down, but Infestation Pit going down for Zenio. Interesting.
I guess he does not want to continue in the Muta War forever, and he wants to do a tech switch now. this can be pretty dangerous because if Hydra, if Hydra realizes what's going on here, then he can just go and end the game. And Hydra, he's going to be able to snipe a lot of Zenio's overlords here.
And using the mutas to draw out of the position, using the Zerglings to go inside the main base. So Queen is going to get taken down, no problem. And behind us, Hydra is attacking the third base, but you also have to realize Hydra saw what Zenio was going for, and seems like he wants to use the Infestors. So the reason why mutas are so popular in ZvZ nowadays is because of the nerf to the Infestor Fungals. Yes, it does have more range, but it's a projectile. That's why it's so much harder to get the mutas, and mutas, they have the speed buff a little bit, and they also have a regeneration buff in Heart of the Swarm. So it's surprising that Zenio is going for this type of build.
Well, the thing is, if you can get one good fungal off and then just chain the fungals after that, you're going to be able to kill pretty much your entire the entire army of your opponent. So maybe that's what Zenio plans on doing there. The problem is getting to that point. It's going to be hard to do that because Hydra, essentially, he has full map control right now. He can deny any expansions Zenio wants to go for. And, you know, in the Muta battle, he's obviously going to win.
Yeah, I guess he decided to go for it because Zenio, he knows that he has much less mutas than his opponent. He knows that he cannot catch up. So that's why he's playing a little bit more like Hive-style ZvZ. We're getting the scoreboards down.
It looks like we have a big engagement here. Hydra opting to go for an attacker using that superior muta count. Will it work, though? There are Spore Crawlers, and the grand battle has been easily won by Hydra, but the problem is that his muta count is simply dwindling right now. It's so low, and Zenio, there's still 20 mutas out for our CJ player.
Yeah, so the Infestors did not actually hit on time, and look at this Hydra instantly seeing the Infestors and splitting up the mutas one by one to make sure it doesn't get, every single one of them does not get chain fungal.
Oh, but a lot of these mutas are still getting fungaled here, and now the muta count is getting desperately low for CJ Andrus' Hydra. Zenio going for a huge counterattack with Zerglings right now. It looks like he may be able to die into the third, and now the muta count is pretty much evened out. Zenio is going to take down this expansion as well, and he is so far ahead in supply now, 130 to 94. It looks like Zenio is going to be in an advantage position after losing the muta battle. He brought the Infestors in, and that bought him just enough time to do this attack, and now it looks like that fourth base it goes down.
Okay, now the damage has been done. Losing the mutas isn't as much because Hydra killed all the mutas himself. Yes, the Infestors are out on the field, but you just need to make 1 or 2 Spore Crawlers. The biggest difference is that Zenio was sitting on 3 base and Hydra got the 4th base up. If the Zerglings only went for a few drones here and there, and his opponent's Zerglings, while the 4th base was still alive and well, Hydra can get the gas right now. He can stabilize on 4 bases.
So we do have the mutas continuing to harass the 3rd base here, and is the fungal gonna go off? No fungals hit there, but that definitely scared off Hydra. And now Zenio going for the 3rd base of Hydra here. He's gonna kill so many drones here, and he's gonna eventually cripple the economy of Hydra here. Going for that hatchery. Will he be able to get it down? No, it looks like Hydra has enough defense to scare off Zenio for now, but still, Zenio killed a lot of drones there.
Hydra needs to leave the Zerglings back at home for defense because these Zerglings are so fast, and because the mutas are out on the field, both players can snipe the Overlords, which means that both players are playing in the dark. He needs to leave the Zerglings back at home. He needs to make at least 3 or 4 bailings per basis just to have some Zerglings back at home to defend against those Zergling run-bys from Zenio, but it seems like Hydra is the one going for the harassment now.
Oh, Hydra now, it's his turn to do a lot of damage here. The Zerglings are going into the natural end main, but Zenio, he's going to be able to eventually kill them off here. Not too much economic damage done, but still quite annoying. The drone count is still heavily in Zenio's favor, but it looks like Hydra, he's not done yet, but the Infestors are burrowed right now. Are they going to be able to unburrow and get some fungals off at the perfect time?
Not just yet, but look at this. Zenio not paying attention at the natural, and the fungal just go off on a handful of mutas.
Oh no, all of the mutas get hit by the fungals, and now Zenio is going to take a humongous lead in the muta count as well. But these 2 Zerglings are killing so many drones off, but that's it. Hydra decides to concede. GG.
Knowing that he had less mutas than his opponent and did not have the infestation pit to make the infestor, Zenio is really happy about his win today.
It looked like Zenio was holding a power glove in his hand there. So happy about that victory, and I have to say that he had some humongous balls to pull off that strategy there, going for 10 Infestors. That is so many extra Mutalisks. They didn't have in his army, but he decided to go for it, and they came out at the most pivotal time. Now, the score is currently 1-0 in Evil Genius's Team Liquid's favor. The next matchup is going to be Effort versus Oz. Don't go anywhere, guys. We will be right back.